That win for Arsenal. We talk about statement wins, but when you look at the form Aston Villa were in, how did the Gunners dismantle them?
Corner. Bit fortunate. Martinez has got under, he's got behind Gabriel and he's tried to take it over him. He's dropped it and he scored. But for the next 29 minutes, they were outstanding. They suffocated Villa, went after them and made them look pretty average in the end. And were outstanding. It's a massive result, this. A couple of results, they've just fallen over the line. Wolves, Brighton, tight games. Today, they put up against the biggest banging form team in the country, if not in the whole of Europe. And they've just dismantled them, absolutely dismantled them. They had a little spell in the game, Villa, where you thought Watkins has a good chance. If he scores, you never know. After that, never really in the football match. And yeah, when you look at Arsenal's fixtures, their away fixtures, they go to Man City. I think everybody else is no higher than 7th or 8th.
Well, they've got Bournemouth away next, then it's Liverpool at home, and then, of course, the FA Cup.
A Man City win New Year's Day, and then they go top of the league. Now 5 points behind, 3 extra goals as well, because goal difference could play a big part in this, the way how tight it is at the moment. But you look at Arsenal with the away fixtures, with this massive result today, they play everybody else at home, all the big teams at home, bar Man City. And if they could perform like that, I just don't know who's going to stop them. I've said it a long time ago, and I'll stick with it. I think they win this quite easily.
And they...
Big win for Arsenal over Aston Villa. Of course, Arsenal have been missing players in recent weeks. Without Rice tonight, but then able to welcome back other players. Where do you see them now? Because, of course, Manchester City are hot on their tail, and Aston Villa have been keeping that pace. A big win for the Gunners tonight.
Yeah, I think Arsenal are okay. Look, they've got City on their shoulder, which is never appealing, with Pep there and Haaland and other players that have won many titles and Champions League, so they've been around the block. But they're not going to have it all their own way. They're not going to have it easy, and to win your first title is going to be a massive struggle, let's be clear. But they're in that struggle, and they're competing in that struggle. And tonight's a good night for them to win 4-1 against Villa, a team that are in great form and a good run of performances and results. I've said for a number of weeks now with Arsenal, I am not listening to one single excuse. They've built a squad that is resilient, that is capable of coping with injuries, that's got 2 or 3 players in each position now, that's had a lot of money spent on it, and it's been cured over a long period of time by Mikel Arteta, who's been given a serious amount of time in the job. This has got to be the season where they lift silverware. They've got the Carabao Cup semi-final coming up in a few weeks. They've got, obviously, the Champions League, but the Premier League title is the one. It is the one they have to win. I think Arsenal have got what it takes to win a Premier League title, and it's important that they do, I think, for all concerned there.
Results of late, if not necessarily the performances. What a time for them to put in, particularly that second half performance, Danny.
Absolutely, their performance was a big statement. It was powerful, full of quality, showed their strength in depth. Let's not forget they didn't have Declan Rice, one of the most important players. But I thought in the first half, when Villa were pretty good actually, and caused Arsenal problems, that partnership that's back together of Gabriel and Saliba gave Arsenal the platform to then go on to have that wonderful second half performance. And of course, the game they lost at Villa, neither of them were playing, of course.
Yeah. And while Gabriel and Saliba provide that platform for Arsenal on the pitch, there's also the way in which the goal was conceded that allowed them to take advantage of the fact that Villa were then trying to get back into the game. And it was an error from Emi Martinez.
Yeah, and it was Gabriel. It was one of the two of them getting in the way, making a use of himself. And
As he always does.
As he does, yeah. And Unai Emery says it himself. It changed the game, and that's what got the ball rolling. And we knew it was coming. We've seen it before at Brentford this season. We've seen it at Leeds, and we saw it on Saturday at Chelsea, where Martinez just gets preoccupied with the players around him. He's got 2 there, he's fighting there, and he can't come for the ball.
It was a stunning performance from Arsenal in the second half in particular. They then open up that 6-point gap over Aston Villa. Suddenly it starts to look a lot more comfortable. And yes, Manchester City have got a game in hand that they'll play on New Year's Day. But it feels like a big one, that in terms of the title race. Have they seen off one of the main contenders?
Not just yet, but they've shown everybody they mean business, and a couple of bad results or a couple of draws and one loss doesn't define their season. Look, they're wonderfully physically, defensively brilliant. There's been a little bit of criticism recently on lack of creativity and too many goals. So much talent. I think they'll just spur each other on to do more and more. And it's a big day for them and a big statement.
I think each win like this, each big win they have is a massive hurdle, particularly at the Emirates, where they get really, really nervous.
Yeah.
They're waiting for that trophy, and that feeds onto the team. And that you saw it previous seasons. We saw it last season, the Champions League. They get nervous. So big statement wins like this, big moments. You look in the next one, possibly the League Cup coming up against Chelsea. That's another big statement in there. Is going to be each one brings on that little bit more belief.
I'm so happy. If we play in every 3 days, we played an opponent today that comes from 11 wins in a row. Superb team, very difficult to play against. And we knew that we were going to have periods throughout the game. And we talked about emotionally how demanding it was going to be. And we struggled in the first 10 minutes, arriving a bit late, playing through us and creating some open space situations that they are very dangerous at. And then we adjusted, get a bit more control. 2 big chances by Victor and the one a scrappy situation inside the box. We didn't manage to score in the second half. We clicked. Everything went much better. Timings were better. Individual roles fulfilled in an extraordinary way. So efficient in everything that we did. And unlike the last few games where we had so many big situations, today we were very prolific and accurate to make the difference there.
Beautiful opportunity. Absolutely. Your thoughts on what you've seen from your team tonight?
Well, it's a beautiful evening. A very tough match. We knew top opponent to play against. And yeah, we had the first 10 minutes a bit shaky where we had to adjust things, and credit to them because they break our press and they had 2 situations they could run and they are very dangerous there. And after that, we grabbed the game a little bit without creating, apart from the 2 big chances of Victor, too much, but more control in the game. And the second half, the way we started, it was amazing. We really turned things up. We were very efficient in everything that we did, and we deserved to win the game.
So what did you say or maybe adjust at half-time? Was it one for an old-fashioned rocket, or was it more kind of a tactical aspect to it?
Rocket is great, but it's not enough. Against them, you have to be really meticulous and understand really well the timing of things when you do them, and everybody working together to achieve that. And we adjusted, and the times were right, and then the players were super efficient in what they did. So big credit to them, because against this team it's not easy.
You spoke beforehand actually about the importance of being ruthless against a team like that never knows when it's beaten. Was that key tonight when you got your moments? You had that spell in the game where you took almost every chance.
Yes, and that's the difference. You know, we have created a lot of chances in the last few weeks, and we needed scrappy goals to win the games. Today, the quality of the finishing and the way we put the ball in the final third in the box, it was top, and that made a difference.
And I think I asked you beforehand, how important is Gabriel Magalhaes? How important is Big Gabby, not just as a defender, but with all the other stuff he brings?
Right.
We saw
today, he was a great example. He comes back after 6 weeks out. It should have been probably 8. He comes early, straight away in the team against probably one of the best strikers in the league, and how difficult it is to mark him, and the impact they had in the game. I thought it was tremendous.
Just to clear something up, Mikel, from the end of the match, you went to shake hands and Unai Emery had already gone down the tunnel. It didn't seem like that kind of match. Have you spoken since?
No,
have you cleared things up? No, any issue from your point of view?
No, not an issue. I mean, sometimes we are in this moment, no problem at all.
Okay, just to finish off then, how beautiful an opportunity, to use that phrase, is 2026 for Arsenal, looking at where you are, top in the Premier League, top in the Champions League?
Well, it's been a great 2025 in the personal level, professional level. The way these guys and the club and the staff made me enjoy my work every single day. And 2026, we know what we want. We're going to have to work really hard for it.
Arsenal, your thoughts on tonight? So happy with the players. And of course, we must analyze this match, but overall how we are getting the day 19 with the point we have and the week we did. Today, we did very good first half, differently than the last match in Chelsea. And of course, we were more or less competing well and even getting our momentum and creating chances. And we didn't concede a lot. No corner the first half for them. But the second half, the first goal changed everything. And after it, of course, they pushed it. And we had as well the injury of Amadou Onana. And we lost it in the middle. And they have the power they show with it. And we finished losing, but now with the players, my analysis, of course, is after the match how we did here 90 minutes. But overall, the most important for us is try to understand overall how we are.
Is that the frustration for you tonight, though? Because at half-time, in the first half, Arsenal hadn't really troubled you a great deal.
Yes,
and then suddenly it changed so quickly.
Yes, we played fantastic the first half, and they started pushing. We had our momentum to dominate our momentum, to create chances in transition, sometimes keeping the ball possession, and we were competing very well and defending very well. Of course, to keep it for the second half was our challenge, and the first goal, how they scored it. Maybe it could be fault, but of course here in England is more difficult because the referees they let to touch the keepers, and it's difficult. But we must accept because in both sides. And then after it, we considered another chances. They scored it and finished the match losing. We scored one goal. We had another really good chances. We were as well keeping our structure and trying to use some young players as well in some minutes they played, and keep going.
11 wins in a row is pretty special.
Football is now how we are now. Of course, everything we did was fantastic, and more or less we are getting our way like we could expect at the better way, maybe, because we are, of course, the third in the league and in the Europa League very good. But try to analyze today, try to add the work we need with the players we have and the players. Some players they are injured, and of course another players, and keep going. And the next match on Saturday against Nottingham Forest, and try to start the second part of the season, the day 20. With the same four we are or we were or the same way we are doing.
You did leave quite quickly at the end to go down the tunnel. Were you unhappy with anything?
No. When I am finishing the match, always I am waiting to shake hand with the another coach, but he was with their coaches, and I can't wait for him. Of course, I was there, but no problem. Of course, I went to my dressing room.
Good night.
Thank you.
At the end there, Unai Emery just saying, I couldn't wait for Mikel Arteta with the handshake. Are we reading anything into that?
No. Mikel just obviously just he's look, Mikel, because that's what Mikel does. They all do that. After the game, they say well done to each other. He didn't even acknowledge him. Look, Mikel's looking for him. Look, he's gone. You know what I mean? It's not like Mikel's not. He's saying it like Mikel was all in. He's up. No, the game just finished. He hugged these guys, and then he's come to look for him. Look, he's asking, where is he?
Yeah.
Sour grapes.
Oh, he left him hanging.
Yeah, he did leave him hanging.
Maybe he did.
I don't
know.
Jim. He left it.
No, but Mikel went first to his...
Yeah, but the whistle literally just went there, Jim. And these guys right there, he hugged him, bam, bam, bam. Then he went to get him. Watch. So watch him.
So right, he's hugging, he's
so
walking.
Now look,
so you want him to stay and waiting?
Just wait there. Look, he's just saying hello.
No. Mikel doesn't have to go and celebrate with his team. He can do that after. He go and shake the manager's hand.
Honestly,
you know.
Come on. He's not waiting 2-3 minutes. He's not even waiting 5 seconds.
No. You go first.
If Unai waits 10-15 seconds and Mikel saw him, he would come over to him.
Sorry, Ian, I don't agree.
Who went to shake his hand there? Who was that shaking?
I don't know, but it must be the assistant of
no, but, you know, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? At the same time, let's face it. You know, Unai Emery's come back to Arsenal. He's kind of embarrassed him there with that result coming there, 11, not 1 in 11. He doesn't feel good. He walked down the tunnel. He didn't even give Mikel a chance to see him.
Okay, so he's frustrated.
Mikel knows that he's there.
Yeah, and he knows Mikel's going to say hello to his... He's going to say well done to his friends.
No, he shouldn't.
Why are we arguing about this?
Exactly.
I don't know.
It's been like this from start to finish. Why stop now? So he's frustrated with Mikel Arteta. Does he have reason to be frustrated with the other Mikel Merino? Because perhaps he could have been sent off. This is the first yellow card in the first half.
Yeah, well...
I think he should have been sent off.
You know what? He's very fortunate.
Yeah.
Because I think he should have... There.
You heard Patrick mention there what happened at the end, just to show you there. Unai Emery shook the hand of the fourth official and went straight down the tunnel to leave his coaching staff shaking Mikel Arteta's hand. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world for Mikel Arteta tonight, is he? Could barely stop smiling in that interview.
No, but listen, listen, you shake hands at the end of the game. You know, emotions are running high. And listen, if it was the other way round, you can imagine what would be getting said about Mikel Arteta. But what I would say is I think Mikel Arteta handled that really well in the press conference. Didn't make a big deal of it, you know, played it down. And rightly so. As I said, emotions are running high at the end of the game. And yeah, I think Arteta handled it all really well, all round.
He won't want us talking about that, Mikel Arteta,
No.
will he? Will want us talking about them going 5 points clear.
Yeah, of course, and that's what he's going to be talking about himself, and he talks about that in the interview. You know, how well his team had done, and, you know, he wants to take all the positives out of that, and, you know, going 5 points clear and going into the new year is just exactly what a performance he would have wanted.
Aston Villa, though, remain in third, and they will still be in third going into 2026. They can't be caught by anybody. The thoughts of
2026 in the right trajectory, says Mikel Arteta. They certainly end the year 5 points clear after that 4-star showing against Aston Villa. 4 goals on the night and 5 points clear now. I think he's pretty much put an end to Handshake Gate by saying there's nothing really in it.
Yeah. Of course there's something. Like Jimmy says that normally the managers straight away, he goes straight to the manager. I don't know. I didn't realise there was such a stringent code of doing it. I just thought that you just like, your guy's right there, you say hello to him, then you say, let me go and say. But like he said, I'm quite glad he quashed it pretty quickly.
The other thing that he mentioned, which stood out, and he'd mentioned it before, he wanted the team to be ruthless. We talked in the build-up about the chances that Arsenal had created in the last couple of weeks and are just not managing to finish them off. Today they did that.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And that's why there's tension and there's anxiety in the stadium, because we play well and we don't take enough chances, we don't score enough goals to give not only the players the confidence to relax in a game and try and manage the game and see it out, but the fans as well, and the anxiety and how they feel about it. Especially when they know that a team like Manchester City's just waiting to pounce. They want to make sure that you win games and win them comfortably.
If you look at the Premier League history, the teams that have been dominating and winning the league, the Man United, they used to kill teams off. They used to score so many. Man City as well. When they are on top, they don't look back. You know, if they can score 5, they score 5. If they can score 6, they score 6. The only team really who hasn't done it and won it has been Chelsea under Conte, because that was quite a defensive kind of side. You know, so in a way, yes, Arsenal is going in the right direction, but that's really what I was talking about. I want them to kill teams off, and it's refreshing to hear Arteta says what he just said. You know, be ruthless. Be ruthless and keep on going and score as many goals, because it might end up that the goal difference is going to be the main factor at the end of the season. So score as many goals as you can.
2025 ending it off on a high for Arsenal in terms of that ruthless performance tonight. 2026 has the potential to be a big year for them, but plenty of work still to do. What are you hoping for in 2026?
To be honest, obviously to win all the home games. It's going to be tough because, again, consecutively, 3 times consecutively, they've not been able to get it over the line. So if they can do it in 2026, it will be a massive testament to Mikel and the work that him and his team have done.
And Jimmy, potentially a big year for them. What do you think will get them over the line as we look at the next 6 fixtures to come? Bournemouth, Liverpool, Portsmouth in the Cup, then Chelsea, Nottingham Forest and Inter in the Champions League.
Look, it's one game at a time. You know, the most important game now is Bournemouth, and it's with that same attitude that you had today to go into that game. And try to punish them off. Yes, you're playing away from home. It's not going to be easy. Not every game is going to be as today. Yeah, we all know that. And some games you have to dig in, and you're going to win them 1-0. But some games you just have to really go for it.
Yeah, you guys have gone for it in terms of each other here. We've had a lot of arguments. Can we get a handshake just to end the year on a peaceful note? Oh, I love that. Absolutely. Nothing but love here in the studio. Nothing but love for all of you football fans worldwide. 2025, that's a wrap for the Premier League. The action continues in 2026. It's going to be a big one. Arsenal are smiling into the new year.
Guys, well played. Brilliant result. Breathtaking second half. Gabriel, personally for the two of you with your goals, but also for the team, how special a night was that?
I think it was amazing, you know. It's always hard to play against them, you know. They have a brilliant players. They come here all the time and they hurt us, you know. And then obviously it was clean that at the beginning of the game they tried to delay the game. Everyone could see that, but you know the mentality of this team is something that really grow. And then each game is growing even more. So I think we won today because of the mentality.
And did we see tonight how much you've missed this guy?
For sure. I said after the last game straight away when they asked me about him, at the moment he stepped on the pitch, you could see the difference of, you know, our back line, you know, the way we defend. This guy loves to defend the same way I love to attack. And then obviously he loves to score goals as well.
So your teammates have missed you. How much have you missed being able to help them out on the pitch?
First, I want to say thanks God, because it was a bit difficult days for me. And I always want to help the team, but now I'm so happy to be back. And yeah, I think today was a brilliant day for everyone, how we work together. And yeah, I think we need to keep going. And yeah, we are so happy.
How important was your goal? Well, to you, but also to the team, because the first half was difficult, wasn't it? Really sort of complicated for Arsenal.
Yes, like Gabi said, it's very difficult to play against them. They want to delay the game, but we know we play at home, and the second half we just pushing, and yeah, we scored the first goal, and after the team was unbelievable.
And how special was your goal to you? You started the year with a goal. You'll remember on New Year's Day against Brentford. You end the year with a goal, but we all know in between times it's been very difficult for you.
It's very clean that why I'm wearing this T-shirt, because Jesus obviously saved my life from the beginning when I was born, but I didn't know that. And then obviously through the tough moment in my life, I realized that we are nothing without Jesus. So I want to glorify his name because he make a huge difference in this tough moment. So now in the shines moment, I want to glorify his name because, you know, to start the year, the way I was playing, you know, confidence back. And then for some reason, the Lord stopped me, and then I could learn a lot of things, you know, what I can do better as a person and then and as a human being. So yeah, I think it's amazing how Jesus work on our lives, you know. Sometimes you just keep doubting yourself, but you never know what's gonna happen, what Jesus prepare for you. So I just say keep going, trust in the process, and trust in Jesus.
Okay, well spoken, both of you. Gabriel Jesus, I have one more job for you. Could you give this player of the match to Big Gabby?
Well deserved.
Thank you, mate.
Let's go.
Gabby's back in the team then, and on the score sheet tonight, when you consider that Aston Villa arrived at the Emirates Stadium, the form team in the Premier League, having won 8 in a row in the league, 11 in a row in all competitions. Did you expect a scoreline like that?
No, I didn't expect that. Not the way Villa have been playing, especially in their second halves. But I do know what Arsenal are capable of, and the chances we even showed at the start of the game, the chances that are being created, especially by Saka, and they've not been taken, but Today was different. I thought the captain, Odegaard, was fantastic. Obviously, Gabby Magalhaes coming back and being in that team is always going to make us stronger. Same with Saliba. When we played them, when we played Villa, we didn't have these two players. And it was it was like a basketball match. We played into Villa's hands. But today, the way we played, you know, we felt like a lot more control, especially like the guys were saying, Villa was slowing the game down, wasting time. That was getting people frustrated. But then you just play through that. And once the first goal came, you kind of felt like there could be more.
Jimmy, before the game, you made a very big point a couple of times about, you know, this is Arsenal Football Club. They shouldn't just be winning games 1-0, as they had been labouring, you know, the last couple of matches. Are you not entertained?
I was entertained today. And that's how I have to be entertained. And that's how Arsenal has to play. And they deserved everything they got today. And they didn't help back after the 1-0. And that's what my argument was. They get in front, their nose is in front, and then they are scared to get a goal against. And instead of not thinking about it and just play for the second goal. And then when the second goal comes, play to make the 3-0. Punishing teams off. Don't feel sorry for teams. Punish them off. Go and get yourself another goal. Feel good, because next match you still have that feeling, but it starts at 0-0. And when you have got still that feeling of being in that right zone, you go different in matches. And today they did the opposite that they have been doing before, and that was really good to see.
Yeah, and against the Villa side, as we mentioned, was the form team, and also I think for a lot of people, the fact that they had moved up to third, an opportunity tonight to move level on points with Arsenal with the victory on a ground where they have done well in the last couple of seasons. Just how big of a statement does this feel like from Arsenal for you?
Well, it's a massive statement, and it's even more of a statement to Villa, to let Villa see the levels that you probably have to get to. I think Villa will have learned a lot by that, because, like you asked me, I wasn't expecting to be 4-1, especially, like I said, the way Villa have been playing. But Arsenal, they are in a good frame of mind. You know what I mean? They haven't been scoring as many goals as they should have, but they have been making chances. And for so long as you're making chances, then, you know, it's up to people to take them. And if you take them, you are more comfortable in the game. We've done that today, and that's why we look more comfortable. Hopefully, going forward, we can do the same, because I don't want to sit here thinking it's only going to be 1-0 and thinking, are they going to score? Like we've seen in previous games, are we going to give away a goal to like a Wolves or something? So I would love to see them play like this on a weekly basis, but it doesn't work like that, especially when you're going for the league.
No, you're right. It doesn't always work like that, but it doesn't also always work 1-0 and go and defend.
No.
You know? Today, they 1-0 and they kept on going. They kept on pressing. They kept on playing in Aston Villa's half, and Aston Villa could not come out. And then opportunities come. And what they did really well, they punished them off. You know, Trossard, great goal. Odegaard, great pass for Subimendi, you know. And Jesus, when he came in, you know, very direct and took his goal really, really well. Yeah. And at that time, when Jesus scored, there were 6 people of Arsenal players around the box. And that is refreshing to see. Yeah. And that has not been in the past.
What has been in the past is their set pieces, and that's how they opened the scoring once again. It was going to make that list 3 times, all under Mikel Arteta. So set pieces again.
Set piece again, yeah. And you know, if that's what it's going to take to break the teams open, yeah, then we do it, because for some reason people seem to forget that the accuracy and the quality of the ball that comes in is what enables you to be able to take advantage of these. And when you look in Declan Rice or Bukayo Saka, they put the ball exactly where it needs to be, and then you're able to capitalize.
Yeah, Jimmy, you wanted to add?
Yeah, that's the most important thing, you know, is the quality of the ball that comes in. And it comes with Arsenal majority of the time at the right spot. So it always brings the goalkeeper in trouble and with a decision to make. And they've been brilliant at it, Arsenal, brilliant.
Yeah, just under 5 minutes later, that second goal then came. And as you already said, it was something special, the assist from Odegaard.
Now, and I'm just pleased, like Jimmy said, see so many Arsenal players getting forward to really punish teams, because what you want to send a message to people is, if you come to our place and you are a little bit off, you're going to get hammered. That's the message you want to be sending to teams. This is why at the start Jimmy was saying this you got to do. And to a certain extent, of course he is right. Sometimes you might have to do it 1-0. But if you get the opportunity to do this, then you do it. You be very ruthless.
Against Brentford. So a long time to wait for the goal. It was very, very tight in the first 45 minutes. We had to wait a long time for a goal. It came in the second half. And these are the stats in comparison. You know, 7 shots for Arsenal, 3 for Aston Villa, just 1 on target. No shots on target for Aston Villa then in the first 45. Arsenal had 6 shots on target and scored from 4 of those. Aston Villa had 3 shots on target in the second half and scored from 1 of those. Birthday boy Ollie Watkins with the goal at the end.
The moment that Arsenal puts a notch on it, Villa couldn't handle Arsenal, and that's just the difference of the caliber of players that Arsenal has. And at the end, Arsenal was way too good for Aston Villa.
There being no Declan Rice, and Jamie talked about the strength of the bench. You know, they've got these players coming back now. Both of those two. Kai Havertz was on the bench as well. So it's as much about the players that are coming back for them now.
Yeah, of course it is. And, you know, Gabriel there and Gabriel Jesus are massive players for them. Gabriel at the back, centre-half, we talked about leaders and, you know, how they go about. They've missed him massively since he's been out, and you know tonight he was colossal. You know, obviously getting the goal, but you know his all-round play was fantastic. He marshalled Ollie Watkins. Of course, Ollie scored, but you know he was fantastic when he was on the pitch. And you know Arsenal have got a fantastic squad, probably one of the best in the league. You know we've alluded to that as well. So you know if they can keep these players fit now, going into like you say the January's, March, February times now. It's going to be vitally important when you come to that back end of the season. You know, we've seen it in previous seasons where they've fallen away. If they can get everybody fit, you know, they're going to be a team to everybody wants to beat.
It's vital.
Changed the Premier League. I made everybody else look at set pieces because you know, look at Arsenal. Look at the results there, getting the points to pick it up on the back of set pieces. And it's made everybody else, as I said, look at set pieces, long throws now, because what Arsenal have been doing now for the last 2 or 3 years.
He's got 17 goals from corners.
To win them the league.
So he's your number one?
Yeah, him or Havertz as the central striker for Arsenal is a better player than Gyökeres. Gyökeres is really game. He has a go. In some ways, I admire him, the way he took that penalty at Everton. He's got that sort of mindset of always look really intense in leading the game. But I just think he lacks a little bit of finesse and quality when you think of what they've got on the bench. So, yes, he's being brought in, but I think going forward, because it'll start getting really twitchy, March and April. Don't forget Man City got Haaland. I think Arsenal need to sort of improve on Gyökeres, and they've got players who can improve on Gyökeres in Jesus.
But is it a positive, like if you were in that Arsenal squad, is it a positive that those 3 players who could all go through the middle in that 9 role are all very different?
Yeah, of course it is for an Arsenal team, especially Mikel Arteta. He'll be looking at it thinking, you know, the different games that they're facing, different teams they're facing, different formations. He can play the different strikers in those different games. Like you say, Gabriel Jesus there is, you know, he comes on, he's been out for a while, but, you know, the composure he shows to finish that off. I even think I said pass the ball when he went to shoot and score, so shows how much I know. You know, he's got that composure, and like I say, Gyökeres, we said with the headers is there, you know, he's got to do better. But in different games, he might do differently. So, you know, it's one of the things. It's difficult to come to the Premier League, and you know, he's had time to settle in, and now you want to see how much he's shown at Sporting to show what he's doing at Arsenal. But with them coming back with Kai Havertz now as well, you know, he's got 3 different options there. The manager will be, you know, absolutely delighted.
There is a positive as well, isn't there, in them doing all of that tonight without Declan Rice? Obviously, they would prefer to have him, but what they didn't want building was a narrative of no Declan Rice and we find it tough.
Well, that was definitely the narrative at half-time. There's no doubt that they missed him that first half, but obviously they changed something slightly tactically, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more compact in the midfield. When you see them win that ball, the sort of 3 of them are all round each other. In the first half, there was space all over the place. Onana was making runs, Tielemans playing great passes through the middle. Listen, you'll always miss him, no matter what the score is. He's that good of a player. You know, even if Arsenal went on a run of 4 or 5 games, if he was out for them, he just goes straight back in the team. That's how good a player he is. So, yes, you might say they didn't miss him, but they did miss him in that first half. You could see that was a huge hole in the midfield. They fixed that second half and went on to get a brilliant result, but he'll be straight back in as soon as he's fit.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta saying pretty much it was a minor knee injury and they would hope to have him back sooner rather than later. Villa did get a consolation goal at the end through Ollie Watkins. There's no need see what those results do to the table, as several teams, all the teams that have played tonight, have reached the halfway stage of this Premier League season, and Arsenal head into 2026 with a 5-point lead over Manchester City. City play on New Year's Day. Liverpool, without playing, stay in the top 4 because Chelsea and Manchester United could only